This is the tree that took out our power line. The Interceptor. That's not a very intimidating name for a race car. Check out this baseball field in Altamont, Longwood area. I think games are going to be rained out for a little bit. Hey everybody, good afternoon, happy Monday. We are heading over to AMC Altamont. There is a screening of Doctor Strange in IMAX 3D. It's not the full movie, it is roughly 15 minutes worth of film. They give you a collectible poster at the end of it and basically just get you kind of psyched for the movie. Sometimes they give you like a question and answer type of thing. We did the same thing for Guardians of the Galaxy when it came out, and basically you get to see some of the movie. We can't take cameras in to the theater with us, but I'm pretty sure I can talk about it afterwards, so you guys will know what I know in about 10 seconds. Alright, we just got done seeing Doctor Strange in IMAX 3D preview, which was basically about 15 minutes worth of the movie. Not from the very beginning, but just kind of cuts along the way. I can't give you a full review of the movie because I haven't seen the full movie yet, but what we did see, at least in this 15-minute preview, was a lot better than what we've been seeing so far in trailers, I believe at least. However, I do still think that this movie is going to be a very hard sell for Marvel. It's not, one of these characters that they've introduced that can do like super cool things, like, whether it's like flying and shooting lasers or Spider-Man or Hulk, it's not a familiar character, I think. For me, as a comic fan, I loved Doctor Strange growing up. When he was part of like the Defenders and kind of solo comics and his interaction with Spider-Man, the comics were never, full of those types of huge battles that I think we've grown accustomed to with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have to say, the stuff that we saw, because it's in IMAX 3D, and before the movie started, Benedict Cumberbatch does a little spiel where he tells you that the movie is specifically filmed to view it in IMAX 3D. It looked gorgeous. Some of the stuff is just amazing to see on the big screen. Going into different dimensions. Some of the stuff is probably unintentionally funny, and I say that only because, like the 10-year-old in me started laughing when one hand becomes, 10 hands becomes, 100 hands, and arms just growing, stuff like that. To me looked kind of ridiculous, but some of the other 3D stuff, it looked gorgeous. The villain in the movie also kind of looks ridiculous. I don't know. I think to me, I could probably best say that, if you like the comics, you're going to love this movie, I think. If you're not familiar with the comics and you've seen the trailers, I think it's going to be a hard sell to get people into the theaters to see this character, because he's not as dynamic, I think, as some of the other characters that we've come to know and love from the cinematic universe. I have this running thing with Mary where I'm a huge fan of Big Trouble in Little China, and she can't stand that movie because of like how ridiculous it kind of is at times. Some of this trailer kind of reminded me of like Big Trouble in Little China meets like the Avengers, if that makes sense at all. But in any event, I'm looking forward to when the movie comes out, to see the whole film, see how it ties into the rest of the story with the broader cinematic universe. We know that one of the Stones is involved with this movie as well, so it'll tie in the whole Thanos thing eventually. But I think that we're kind of really getting thin on ancillary characters in the universe altogether. Ant-Man was a smashing success. I think there was a lot of humor in that. There was a lot of humor in this trailer as well. I don't know if it was necessarily as good as the humor in Ant-Man, but that could also have to do with having Paul Rudd versus Benedict Cumberbatch. But I don't know. We'll see how this goes in about another month when the movie comes out. We're back home from the movies and running errands and all kinds of non-fun stuff after the movies. But now I hear Mary in the kitchen trying to quietly clean dishes.
I'm trying to.
Jessie was busy practicing volleyball. She's walking by and not wanting to say something. No comments for once from the background. I got this package in the mail today. It's something that I ordered from eBay more than a month ago. I am a big Dennis Rodman fan. I think he's probably my third favorite player behind Shaq and Magic Johnson. And they don't make his jersey anymore. So I looked online, couldn't find where they were selling it. Bought it from where I thought it was a reputable seller on eBay that tied back to an address, I think in Michigan, which in then turn ended up being a front for another place in like Beijing. So it went to California first, and then it stayed there for a little bit, and then it literally took like 18 days for it to get from California to Florida for whatever reason. This is it. Let's open this package up. It came in like a Ziploc bag. That's how you know it's quality. And look at this. On the tag, it actually has a sticker with a barcode. I mean, it's that elaborate. This, obviously, is not very crisp for the American Express logo. Why it has American Express logo anyway to begin with is beyond me. But okay. Hardwood classics, alright. And this is the jersey. This is the silica gel. I tell you, it doesn't look too bad. The letters look nice. There's some points here where it's a little rough. Sleeves look decent. This is supposed to be length +2, which means that the bottom length would be a little bit longer. Or the back length, and it actually is that way too. It's got the little jock tag on it. Like, I gotta tell you, it looks good for the price. Let's make sure his name is actually correct. It doesn't say like Dodman or something. No, it looks good. The spacing looks good. The numbers look good. I mean, I'm assuming that this is a knockoff. I don't think that there's any possible way that it's real coming from Beijing, China. Especially with this tag that looks incredibly fake. But I will say, it looks really good. The only thing that looks a little bit wonky is this N, I think. But maybe the ends did look that way. I'm trying to look at pictures online while I'm talking about it. Looks good. It looks pretty decent, except it's a little tighter. I don't think that XX actually means XX when ordering counterfeit jerseys. I think it usually XX, like for NBA jerseys, would be baggy. I'm sure folks that buy basketball jerseys know what I'm talking about, but it's actually quite tight. And I'm not gaining weight, I'm losing at this point. But I like it. Mary just asked a good question about the Doctor Strange preview that we saw tonight versus the one that you'll see at the Disney parks if you go to Hollywood Studios. It should be a little bit different. I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and they did the preview through the theaters. It was a different cut, or different scenes that were cut from the movie than what they showed for the preview at Hollywood Studios. Some of the same stuff, but some different things. But in any event, I thought it was pretty decent, especially if you like the comics. If you don't like the comics, I think it might be a hard sell. I don't have much else to say other than driving up and down to get to the theater and the mall and all that good stuff. It looks like everyone's got a ton of firewood outside of their houses around here. There's nothing but bundles of branches and trees and all kinds of good stuff everywhere. So once again, very lucky that damage wasn't worse than what it was. So on that note, we're going to sign off for tonight and give you hopefully a little bit of a shorter video. Thank you for all of your likes. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.